time, I'll get my horse show announcer voice on. You'll want to find the Facebook Live video and share it. Hey, my mom just rated us 5 stars. Thanks, Mom.
Nice.
Much appreciated. I'm starting to think she likes me.
So I'm going to have to borrow your pen in a minute, or somebody's pen.
Huh. Turns out that Darrin is the only one that came prepared tonight.
I brought a pen.
There's a Brand X rebar company there that has a pen.
Oh, there's a nice pen.
So there's a
These
delay?
are the best pens that you can get in the store.
these-
Yes,
yeah.
there's a delay.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah,
There's a little bit.
it's
I mean,
a
it has to
little
go
bit.
up to the internet and back. Yeah. So as you wave and things, it takes a minute.
All around
Really,
the world and
it's-
back to Henry County.
It's conspiracy because I think Facebook gets it first. That way they can.
I did mean to ask before we went on air, is there anything we're not allowed to say? I mean, I don't know at this point.
No, I think you're good. I mean,
we could...
but just remember, you are live, so
You can bury yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, I didn't know about YouTube standards or anything. So just
no.
making sure.
I think we're good.
Okay.
We'll find out.
We're a PG-18 show, so yeah.
We'll find
We haven't
out.
been
Look
thrown
at
off
that.
YouTube yet.
Aaron Dickin has already commented. First
Hey,
comment
sweet.
of the evening.
Sweet,
You
Mr.
see
Dickin.
Cade Coger
Cade's
is
in.
also watching.
All right, everybody ready?
I think I'm ready.
These
All
are
right.
sweet Geraldo pens.
Geraldo.
Isn't that what it says?
Yes. Geraldo. Geraldo rebar. All right, everybody. Here we go. Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast on the We Are Libertarians Network. I am your host, Jeremiah Morrell. As always, I'm joined by our co-host, Dakota Davis. On my left, to my far left, this is backwards today for what we're going to have. To my hard left, we have...
Far left,
To
yeah.
my far left, I have Clay Morgan, our returning co-host. It's been a couple weeks, Clay, but you're back.
Yes. I am
And
glad.
our show is about our lives in rural Indiana. It's a show about folks who are involved in politics. We promise that our episodes are going to be a fun and easy listen. We interview folks who are influencers, elected officials, political experts, and folks that we just find interesting. So I guess on the camera left, if you're watching on the live stream or on the YouTube later, is Mr. Darrin Jacobs, our token socialist. Welcome, Darrin.
Just happy to be here.
Glad to have you back. It's a return episode.
I know it. How many return guests have you had? Do you know?
I think you are...
Besides Tanner Purdue.
Tanner's been on a couple times. I think Jesse Riddle's done a couple. My brother showed up last week halfway through, and then Kat and Agnos. So you're you're in the top 5 of
Wow,
return
I'm
guests.
glad to be back.
Yeah.
So
glad to be
it's-
back.
It's very. We're glad to have you. Honestly, it's fun. We have a lot of fun. Normally, we have to mention Darrin's name within the first 5 minutes of the show. So
Yes.
now we have him in person.
I think that should be part of the Boss Hog of Liberty drinking game.
Yes.
Drink every time Darrin's name's brought up.
Yeah. Now, surprisingly, I thought Darrin was an alcoholic, but he's not. He just has the Diet Pepsi. That's all he's going with.
We're live.
We are live. It's not true. I never thought that. I apologize, Darrin.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So funny.
Man, weekend recap. That's where we're going to start, right?
Yeah.
We,
As usual, we're going to start in with our weekend recap and hit a couple of issues, but today I think we're just going to try to just take a crap over Darrin whenever we can.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm here for.
this show today, we've got some stuff programmed. It's mostly going to be statewide things that we're going to be talking about, and some of the some of the stuff that's been going on. And then we got a little pop quiz for Darrin that's going to come up. We haven't let him see the see what's on it, but we're going to have some fun with that and see where he really lands on the political spectrum, on the spectrum of sorts. So.
Yeah.
And maybe we're going to get Clay to do it too.
Yeah.
Although Clay's been
I haven't
staring
done
at
it
it, so
yet.
he hasn't.
I
taken
haven't read it. I actually haven't read it.
So over the weekend, Dakota and I did hang up a little bit on Friday.
Yep,
We
just
had
Friday night.
the last episode. My brother showed up and he brought in a 22 for us to sight in on Saturday, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, Friday carried on a little too long and a little too hard, and Saturday we just kind of called it a wash and said we're staying home. So we never did get down to VRA.
Poisoned on Friday night.
Yeah,
I think it was the pizza that Chris Spangle brought.
I'm sure that's what it was.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, it wasn't the Irish whiskey. It was it was the pizza.
Yep.
I didn't have the pizza. I was also poisoned, but I was poisoned by something else. So
Yeah.
that's the way it goes.
You still on your diet?
I am down
Okay.
down 22, man. So it's
20
Wow.
pounds?
yeah, down 22 since the 1st of September. The
Wow.
hardest part is I give out Jack's Donuts all the time for work. You know, I go see customers, and usually my first appointment I bring in Jack's Donuts, and that is the toughest thing for me, is to not have one of those. Like people have asked me, like, what's what is
Very
it?
much.
And that's the one. So I haven't had bread, I haven't had sugar, I haven't had
I
rice
know,
or any of that stuff.
I noticed
Straight.
when I came in that you're looking a lot slimmer.
I'm
there.
wasting away, yeah.
I know. We've been trying to do kind of the similar type diet, so it's been a struggle. Same thing with it's the bread and the potatoes. You know? I mean we're trying to do the meat and the vegetables and
yeah. Sarah's doing it with me too, and the pasta is like driving her nuts. Not having pasta and some of that stuff. That I've never really cared for it.
So you don't have any cheat days. You just straight through.
No, yeah, pretty much straight through. Like I think I had about the most cheating I'll do on it is I'll have like I might have some, like if I go to B-Dubs, I might not have the grilled chicken every time. I might have breaded chicken, but that's it. Then otherwise, I'm pretty true to it.
It stuck to it religiously. Like I had that really good new IPA that I found. Remember that?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even take a sip of it. You're like, no, I can't do it.
Last week, Kat was here and she brought coffee cake, and I had like a little crumb just to humor her, but that was it. So,
Wow.
yeah, that's the
Good job.
That's the deal.
That's not an easy thing to do.
So so Dakota worked through a bottle of Jameson, basically, is what we're saying. On I did cheat a little bit with that.
It was not an entire bottle.
The rest of a bottle.
It was like half of a bottle.
We did an Irish car bomb. I always do like those, and Guinness is a weakness of mine. So I think I had half a Guinness when I beat him in drinking our Irish car bombs.
There's no liberty in grilled chicken, said Corey Murphy. I love that.
Yeah,
it's just like skim milk, which is water lying about being milk.
Yeah, and Kel McGuire is mentioning that I can drink vodka, and that's exactly what I've been doing is club soda, vodka, and lime. There have been more limes sold in the last month in Henry County than I think in the history.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
I've never had so many limes in my house.
Every time I show up, I bring a
club
couple.
soda for that matter.
Yeah,
or vodka. I just
but club soda is like 50 cents for a 2-liter bottle. It's ridiculously cheap. So. Anyway, enough about that. I don't want this to sound like Beyond the Fork with Brett Bittner on the Weird Libertarians Network. This is the Boss Hog Liberty, and we have important things to discuss.
That's right.
Like I did make chili.
Like the fact that I got to add a new bottle to my Jameson.
That's
collection.
right. You're up to about 42 now.
I think I've got like 8 of them.
Yeah, you got a bunch. And then I made chili for the crowd because that's another thing I can eat is I can have chili. No pasta in my chili, but I made it. So Dakota's supposed to tell us what he thought about it and how I would have placed at the. We did the big chili judging thing about a month ago.
Yes.
Yep,
and actually, on that note, if you guys want it now,
sure.
I have cards.
Oh,
for Mr. Davis and Mr. Morrell.
I will get this to my father
on behalf of Victory Lane Camp.
Awesome, thank you very much
for your time well spent in the chili judge contest.
I wasn't told that this would be a paid position, so this is amazing.
It is. It is.
Got paid in chili.
Yes.
So even for that, I was on the swing then, and I wasn't. I didn't do the crackers or anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was. Man, these are custom cards.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Oh,
yeah.
The Cafe Royale gift card, $2,000.
There you go.
Man, a $2,000 Cafe Royale gift card
each.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Are we gonna spend it together?
We probably should. It'd only be appropriate, right?
Okay.
You guys can have a little date.
Well, it's.
Oh my God!
Other than Sarah, you have no idea what a quality time we have together.
Have you ever had the Dark Knight mochas there? The coffee.
I've always had the White Knight down there.
Really?
The white chocolate, yeah.
Of
course, that's not in the cards for me right now either, probably, because it's
so good.
Yeah,
straight black coffee. That's
you
what
can get a green tea.
No. I would get coffee with a little cream.
No, they have whipped cream, green tea there.
Yeah,
it's like a frappe, but it's like a green tea, and it is so good. It is incredible.
I actually think I've had that before one time.
I
it's been a while back.
Thing.
I need to. I'm looking forward to visiting. I haven't been there since they moved, so it's.
I've been there.
They're on the wrong side of the road
once or twice.
In the morning, as I drive north on 3, it was easy to swing in on the right, but now I got to cross traffic, and it's a whole thing. So it's good for the southbound cars, I suppose.
That's right. But who's going south? Unless they're going to Spiceland.
Right. Well, that's the
the Draper
one
crowd.
of the biggest employers in the county.
It's more than camp.
It's more.
So thank you very much. That was it was awesome to be a part of that, and we it definitely wasn't necessary to do that, but we appreciate it very much.
But we had a lot of fun doing it.
We did.
There's no.
Well, there was some compliments. I was told, like I said, you guys helped me out. You made me look good. So, because I was in charge of getting the judges. So
you made us look good.
But they said
thinking that we were good enough to go.
Celebrity judges. But yeah, I think everybody had fun with it too, having you guys there. So
well, very good. it was a lot of fun. So, Dakota, what is it? You tried some energy drink. You've got that here for us. Bang energy drink and Clay's. Yeah, is Clay is this multi-level marketing thing?
Like, here's the thing.
I don't have it today.
I figured that Clay would come in and drink it because that's like what he brings every week.
Right.
And then the one week I sent him the show notes before, and he comes with a freaking coffee.
And I knew it would be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it just to razz me, didn't you?
I did.
I knew it. I can't believe it. No, but Clay drinks it, and my friend Trevor also drinks it, and it's
very sweet.
Okay. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot because it's like a bodybuilder athlete.
It's not sugar free then.
Yes, it's sugar free.
It's sweet, but it is sugar free. It has some kind of artificial.
I gotcha.
0 grams of sugar, 0 carbohydrates, 0 calories, 0 fat. It's like pure zero everything, but it has
except on taste.
Yeah, it has caffeine, and it has L-carnitine. It has CoQ10. It has super creatine, which is a strain of creatine and a strain of
it's like a GMO creatine.
Propanol,
it is.
I think is what it's called. And they fuse them together, and it's like just this ultra creatine is what they call it. It literally says super creatine on the can. And so I'm like, all right, you know what? I worked out today. I'm going to try it. You know.
Did you take it before or after?
After.
Okay.
So I'm just drinking it, you know, driving around, and because I'm at work, so I'm driving around. I'm in Pendleton. Shout out to Jason Thompson, and I am like shaking, like my hands are like jittery, and like my heart is beating really fast. And I was like, oh my gosh! So I get off of 38 and I pull into the McDonald's.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to get French fries and a water, you know, try to soak this up. And so I get it, and then I go out to the truck and I start like reading on it. And it's got 300 milligrams of caffeine in it.
Oh my.
Yeah.
300.
And you do this all the time? Is this how you live the 3 lives you do?
I don't do it all the time.
Father of 10, barber to the entire town, and councilman to the stars.
Well, I told him today, I said I probably do have a little bit too high of a tolerance for caffeine. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see how you can do it. I mean, generally speaking, I drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and then it's water for the rest of the day for me. Yeah. Except for whenever we podcast and on the weekends, then I drink beer and no water.
This is why Dakota keeps trying to convince us to do podcast every day so he can drink more.
But I mean, that's like I never drink caffeine like that, and it took me for a roller coaster ride.
Thanks for the warning, Clay.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, my hands didn't stop like tremoring until like 4:30, and I drank it at 1:30.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it was intense. Yeah. I was like, never again. And I didn't even drink all of it. Like, there was still some in the can. It was crazy.
Wow. Where do you get it? Do you have to get it on the dark internet and have it sent in?
Yeah, right.
Have to sell a kidney.
You can't get it from here. Yeah. No, the place
Go to Greenfield.
Over at
you have to sign for it at the pharmacy.
The place I do know is the Shell station across from Taco Bell.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know they sell it. So, and I think you can get it at GNC too, but it's more expensive.
You can also order an entire case of it off of bodybuilding.com.
That's what
you can. You can.
I did. I looked at it
before you took it the first time.
Well, yeah. I mean, I looked at it because I wanted to see what was in it and like read the reviews before I wanted to try it.
Right.
Well, and it like they don't list the nutrition label. It just says what it has in it. Like it's got caffeine, creatine, and explained what type of creatine it was, and it didn't tell me there was 300 milligrams in it.
So what's supposed to happen? Is it supposed to you're supposed to do it after you work out or pre-workout or as you're doing it?
It's supposed to be pre-workout technically, but if you're
instead you do it as you're sitting in a car.
Yeah, well, if you're Clay, then you do it so you can get amped up for a podcast on Thursday night.
Exactly. Because after I'm working all day,
What time do you go to bed after you drink that here?
Normal, 10:30.
Man,
I get right to sleep. Yeah,
no,
I'm pretty drained. I get pretty drained. I mean,
that's crazy. Wow.
All right. Well, now we're just wasting Darrin's time.
Just along for the ride.
It's okay. So just wait. I mean, once the socialists take power, you'll have to wait in the bread line, so it's good practice.
Oh, okay. Just waiting.
So
I can get up and leave at any point, right? I think
yeah,
Nate established
it's
that.
free,
You're allowed
it's
to
free
leave
association,
at any point.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's totally volunteerist here.
So Darrin is a longtime friend of mine, and I guess probably a longtime friend of Clay's as well. And
few years,
got to know
yeah.
Dakota here. I got to know Darrin when he was the Democrat chairman in the county. Congratulations on getting out of that job, by the way.
Worst job in government.
It's it's totally unpaid, and
Yeah.
you're just recruiting people. And when you give up and can't find candidates, you have to run yourself.
I actually thought about the Republican side one time, and I was talking to him about it, and he's like, "Don't do it, man.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't take the chairman.
If somebody else will do it."
Yeah.
I've been a vice chairman here a couple of times, but I've never been the chairperson.
Yeah.
Luckily.
I thought you were going to again.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you got voted
It's
out.
plausible. Yeah, I lost the election. So I lose all kinds of elections. It's fine.
Old Tanner Purdue came in and swept the rug out from underneath
Yep.
him.
Yeah, that's welcome to the Libertarian Party, where Tanner Purdue can defeat you with just by saying,
That's gotta make you
know,
feel
I'd
bad.
like that job. It's yours, man. Congratulations. Everybody applaud Tanner. So Tanner, by the way, is doing the big show tonight. We're
I saw that.
Libertarians. So
I saw
if
that.
you're not on the, I got to turn Clay down.
Yeah,
he's popping hard.
I'm usually.
We had my brother over there last week in your
Yeah,
chair,
that's what
and
it
that's my
was.
problem. Is we
Everything's
still
all-
got it cranked up for him.
Things
So.
all messed up now.
We're getting there. You should be feel
Okay.
comfortable. We'll take care of it.
I'm just chilling.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
So we called Darrin our token socialist because you were a Bernie guy in the last
Absolutely,
in
yeah.
the last cycle, and I guess you still are.
Yeah, I was going to wear my Bernie shirt tonight, but I wore my NASA shirt.
You stand
instead.
by that decision, huh?
Absolutely, still do. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Well,
I would still vote for Bernie.
in comparison to Trump, I can. There's.
I would vote for Trump before I voted for Bernie.
Well, yeah, but neither one of them are going to be successful.
Just to irritate
Neither one was going to
Darrin.
get their
That's all
stuff
right.
done.
That's all it is.
But it's. I don't
No,
know. Would
I
you
would
take
vote for
Bernie?
neither of them.
Would you take Bernie with the Republican legislature and just have total gridlock? But then at least they.
Yes, absolutely. I would.
They're almost have that now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost ideal government.
Yeah.
Just complete
Just
gridlock.
doesn't happen at all.
Yeah. Now we have gridlock, and we have a one-party system, and we still have gridlock.
I mean,
Correct.
Listen, in Indiana, we got one-party government. The Republicans raised your taxes 45 times this last year, and
I told Clay, I said,
and
what
the-
happened? The Republican Party in Indiana is now the tax and spend party.
Yeah. And the Democrats were fighting against
Yeah,
the
we're
tax
fighting
raise.
against the tax
What's
raise.
up?
Yeah, I mean,
y'all just trade jerseys is what happens.
some really
every
good conservative folk, right?
Right. Well,
I think we had that conversation in the barbershop.
Right,
today, didn't we?
exactly. And what's so funny about it is I think some of this stuff just proves that.
It's all,
I hate to say this because but it just proves sometimes it's like a game. It's like, well, you want it, so we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, give me a break.
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyways.
and it's also some of it, I will concede, as the pragmatic libertarian in the room, some of it's actually having to govern as well, where you have to,
Oh, there is.
you have to deal with some of the issues, and sometimes if you
I don't know.
if
I'm looking at your test compared to mine, and
I haven't taken the test yet.
this isn't yours.
No,
Whose is that?
that was here.
I
don't know.
Is that Joe Peavy's?
No, that's got to be Rex Bell or Jesse Riddle.
I'm not sure who took that one.
Some libertarian that's much more pure than I am.
Although I'm probably up near the top of it as well. We are getting ready to take the world's smallest political quiz from the Advocate. So I'm going to give. Darrin has not seen this yet, unless he's looked at it online.
Nope, I haven't seen it. I have taken many of these, though, before.
This is the gold standard. This is something that the libertarians use quite a bit on at outreach booths and those sorts of deals. And it's basically 5 personal questions and 5 economic issue questions. And you go through, and Darrin will be reading them. And we'll kind of do it along so that the listeners can listen along, Darrin. And you're basically going to agree, maybe agree, or disagree with each of these statements. The first one is a personal question. It's not like personal, like,
Are you reading
where
it
do you
or am I
live?
reading
Yeah, I'll read it. I'll
You
read it
and I'll
to the
answer.
audience.
Okay.
It says, government should not censor speech, press, the media, or the internet.
No,
And Darrin's going to say if he agrees, maybe
okay.
agrees,
Yep,
or disagrees.
I agree with that.
Hey, look at that. Very libertarian of him. The military service should be voluntary. There should be no draft.
Here's where,
This sounds like a maybe.
well, I could see where that there's some kind of service.
It's black and white. You have
like
to
a
do it.
mandatory service.
He's going to put us in the AmeriCorps.
Whether it's AmeriCorps, something like that, where everybody spends a year doing some kind of service. I'm going to say
You think the government should force that upon 18-year-olds? I think that this question is actually specifically talking about
it is
the
military.
draft.
Yeah,
all right.
There should be no draft.
So I'm going to answer the question. Military service should be voluntary. There should be no draft. I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it. Darrin Jacobs wants to reinstitute the draft.
I will reinstitute the draft.
All right.
I'm too old to be drafted now, so
Well,
it's okay.
I mean, it's all about you.
This is all about Dakota.
Thanks, Darrin. Yeah.
I think I'm too old now, too. 34 is pretty questionable. I'm almost too old to be a sheriff's deputy. 36, I found that out.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not looking for the job, but
I think that Chase is here.
you need to go check on him, let him in, or
I'm
is he going to
pretty
listen
sure
to the
that
voices?
I heard him come up the stairs.
There should be no laws regarding sex between consenting adults. Did you think your night was going to go here tonight, Darrin?
That's all right.
All right.
So
there should be no laws regarding sex between consenting adults.
Consenting adults. So I will agree that there should be no laws regarding sex between consenting adults.
All right, very good. So the next question on the personal issue, this is the side where we would expect Comrade Jacobs to be very, very much in agreement, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Repeal laws prohibiting adult possession and use of drugs. Repeal laws prohibiting adult possession and use of drugs.
On this, I guess, and this may be a maybe, I don't know that there should be a law repealing all the laws. I mean, I could see maybe allowing marijuana. Of course, we would want to tax the hell out of it, but that's...
Of course you would. It's just in your nature.
And I would like to see more drug treatment versus incarceration.
Decriminalizing,
but I don't know that I would go completely, because I would still want to see laws, especially against drug dealers or manufacturers.
Right, but we're talking about like decriminalizing versus making it perfectly legal.
Yeah, we're talking about possession and use, not dealing. We're talking about possession and use.
I'm going to go with maybe.
Okay, very good.
I don't feel like I could go strong either way on that one.
And then the final question on the personal side is there should be no national ID card. There should be no national ID card.
Now this is different than a driver's license.
Right.
This is talking about.
But we're running into, there's some states here recently, because we're supposed to all go to
a secure ID. Indiana is going to be forced. If you're going to fly, you have to have by 2020, I believe, you have to have the secure ID in Indiana. So it is basically going to be that.
We're going to have it.
Yeah. So do you agree with that? Basically, do you agree that we should be making that change, or is the old driver's license you've had forever good enough?
Well, I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna go with a national ID card.
Well, one thing about this though too that you add in, I mean it's kind of a real blunt statement, because does this mean we can still require ID for certain activities?
See, that's why I would be, because
if you, for like voting, I mean, that's the big issue.
Yep. And there's so many on that end. There's so many people that the argument against that is that people don't have access or don't have a driver's license. If everyone has some form of legal ID that everyone's given,
well, you have a state-issued ID that's free.
Yeah,
we're talking about an additional federal type one.
Yeah.
But if this is the same thing with crossing, I mean, if we're all going to have to go to it anyway, I mean, I would be. I'm okay with it.
All right.
Hey, I know exactly where this is going to end up on the spectrum.
Oh, I do too.
I've been called it by libertarians many times, so we'll go.
Some of us don't use labels. We're nice.
Okay.
But if you decide that you have to use a label on yourself, we'll allow it.
Okay.
End corporate welfare. No government handouts to business. Agree, maybe agree, or disagree. We're into the economic issues.
So I think this is too small, because I feel like there's too many of these that are kind of, as far as corporate welfare. I mean, I would agree that I think that there's a lot of subsidies into areas that don't need it just because they lobby. They have good enough lobbyists. But I would say that there are some areas that, and some companies that could use the additional funding or the subsidies to help further research and development. So, I don't know. In corporate welfare, no government handouts to business. I'll go with agree on this.
Okay. End government barriers to international free trade. End government barriers to international free trade. Agree, maybe agree, or disagree. So that's NAFTA. That is, the TPP. That's a number of the different tariffs that are in place. for protectionism of different industries.
Right. And again, here we go with the. I would be in favor of free trade, but the question is always: is it fair
Is it
trade?
both ways?
Right. I mean, that's the. But with just the question is before us to end, I'd agree.
Okay. All right. Let people control their own retirement, i.e., privatize Social Security.
That's a disagree on that. That was an easy one.
Shocking. Shocking. Replace government welfare with private charity. Clay's quiet over there, but he's taking the quiz. We'll see. We'll see how Clay comes out. But we tweaked him over there a second ago.
There are some, there's some what ifs and discussion points here too.
There's
but
some
I don't know
nuances.
if you want to get into that. But
my answer to that one's disagree.
You disagree?
Big surprise there too.
You don't trust people to
Right.
to give things away. You have to steal it from them, and then you
Absolutely
can give it away.
redistribute.
Yes.
And the last question is going to be an easy one too.
Cut taxes and government spending by 50% or more. It doesn't say local county government, which you work for. It says just government spending.
I'm going to disagree with that as well.
Okay. You probably
I
need
say
to
I'm-
increase taxes and increase government spending because it's for the common good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm for in Henry County. Usually, I'm probably the only guy in the room who would ever say, "Yeah, raise taxes. Let's go."
Oh my God! I about
Well, no,
threw
there's
up.
another guy in the room that's voted for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least I've never voted for it, but that's so you got to figure this.
So yeah, you're gonna take your numbers here,
Okay.
and it looks to me like on the personal side, Darrin scored a 50, and he scored a 40 on the economic, and we'll plot that on the liberal. You're gonna be right here on this line here, and you're gonna be a 40 over here. You are, congratulations, a centrist.
Wow.
You're not a statist, big
Oh,
government
my.
guy.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah,
Darrin
but he's
Jacobs
leaning towards
is
status.
Well,
That's
he's
good
close.
enough for
Now
me.
what we need him to do is sign the card, and we're going to leave that in the museum here as well. Unless Darrin needs to take it home, we're going to have him sign it, and that's going
Burn
to
it.
go
Well,
up.
I'm very disappointed. I was hoping to go for big government liberal statist and
Yeah,
centrist. Boy,
man, yeah. You may never get a chance to be the chairman of the Democrat
they
Party
may
again
take
with
my
this kind
cards
of record.
away. They may take my cards away.
At some fairs, we'd try to pretend you're a libertarian and sign you up.
so how did you get this?
So it's a
See,
plot
it's
chart here.
it's a grid here.
Yeah.
So your
Oh,
personal
okay,
right there,
70,
you go to
okay.
70, and then on your economic, you go to the 80.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So where's
we got
Mr.
we got a surprise here.
What is he? Is he a lefty?
No.
I like the little laugh.
I am in the libertarian scale.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, look at that.
I got to see this.
He's actually pretty high up in the libertarian scale.
Is he higher than Dakota?
I mean, he's not as
Is he-
pure
is
as
he-
whoever this is. Did you take it, Jeremiah?
Let me take it real quick. It's been a while. I think I'm a 90 or so.
I was a 90-90. The only thing I had a maybe on possession of and use of drugs because I don't necessarily agree with like meth and heroin.
Right.
You know, I'm more of the Austin Peterson type libertarian that says it's not okay to sell heroin to 5-year-olds.
I think this is a little bit too specific.
It's very,
too. There's
well,
not.
it's vague.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's going to be.
Right.
It's going to be
Right.
vague.
Yeah, it's very vague.
I'm
Doesn't
a-
give enough nuance.
I am a 90-10, 100% on the personal side and 90% on the economic
Yeah,
side.
but you know how to vote on it, though.
Well, no, it's I took it again, and I gave myself a medium on the international free trade because I think Darrin does have a point that on some points we need to have fair trade. And the
And I put maybe with government welfare replaced with private charity.
no, I think you're just not very charitable on tax day. You've been stolen from all year long.
I don't know.
I truly do think that we would have a private way of taking care of that. Once again, it's not a tomorrow thing, but we'd get there.
I think we
Yeah.
could get there eventually, but this is saying replace government welfare with private charity. Like it's saying like all of a sudden we have no more government welfare. Boom. It's all taken away. And it's up to private charities and churches that are diminished down to nothing in today's society.
Well, wait till
So-
Darrin makes them start paying property taxes.
And then we really won't have any churches for the private charity. Thanks, Darrin. I think that churches should pay property taxes too, just like everybody else.
I agree.
It should be nothing.
But you know who else agrees with us? Tom Saunders.
Yeah,
Well-
he's pretty consistently been in the.
Does Tom Saunders agree with me or agree with you? Because I think they
That
should.
the churches should pay property
Well,
tax.
I think they should. I think they should pay as much as what I think everybody else should pay, which should be 0.
Oh,
Yeah, I've talked to Tom about it, and a couple of years ago, actually, he talked to me about it all the way back when you and I first met at his page day
Yeah.
That was in like, what, 2011? Early 2011 or?
Probably. It was
so.
real early on.
I think
it was.
so.
You were running for. You had you even announced for Newcastle yet?
That day really inspired me
Yeah.
to do it. So that's what got me started. So
I remember my first impression of Clay because we were in Richard Murdoch's office.
Yeah.
Of all places to be.
Yeah.
The treasurer's office.
Yeah.
Of the
He
state
was
of
state
Indiana.
treasurer.
And Clay was asking about, you asked him a question about Sharia law.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I'm like, who is this guy asking about Sharia law in Indiana?
Yep. Because he was
foreshadowing Roy Moore, who thinks we have it in Indiana.
Because
That's what he
your next
said.
senator
he was
from Alabama.
He was running for senator. He was getting ready to run for senator.
He was going to beat
U.S.
Dick Lugar.
senator. Yes. And
the Lugar Slayer.
At that time, there was this cleric. I forget his name now, but he was on Fox News, and he was getting ready to host this big rally at the White House to convince that Sharia law is what we needed in the United States over our republic or democratic republic constitution. It was a better way. And so that
he was actually making a point like this is unironically.
So that was kind of a hot button thing at that time.
On
So
the far right Republican primary, I'm sure it was.
Since he was going to go to the Senate, I was like, hey, what do you think about this? So I wanted to let him know that I knew he was running.
Yeah, of course. You have the inside information.
I thought, who is this guy from rural Henry County who is worried about the government being overthrown by
That's right.
By the
Islamic extremists in
Muslims,
Indiana?
These dang Muslims coming here with their Sharia.
Man. So Darrin is looking tan tonight.
Yeah.
He's looking
You are.
well rested. Of course, you have the 4-day work weeks anyway, but but they do make you start work at 7 in the morning, which seems cruel and inhumane. But
And work till 5.
and work till 5, yeah.
Ouch.
But so you took a cruise.
So we just went on a vacation. Yeah, my family and I've got a 13-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter, and we hadn't been on vacation in 4 years. So we had been kicking around going to Disney, and my wife was kind of interested in doing a cruise, so we compromised and we did both, and we had a good time.
Compromised by doing both.
Now, see, I've been trying.
That's something they would do in Congress.
I've
We'll
been
pass both laws.
trying really hard.
Well, we'll give you your tax increase and to take their freedom away. No problem at all.
That's right. Thanks, Patriot Act.
Yeah. Did you get did you get touched on the airplane? I mean, did you get groped by the blue gloves
we
of freedom?
We drove. I didn't want to fly United. I didn't trust how would that
You never know
turn
if you're going to
out,
hit a goose or something else goes terribly wrong.
So yeah, we drove through the South. I didn't feel safe the whole way through. So
Yeah, they could practically see the little D beside your name.
Yeah, had to scrape off the Obama bumper sticker before we get going. The Bernie bumper sticker on the other side, scrape them off. Slap on a Confederate flag. And
I was going to say
went 80 miles an hour.
You put a wrap on the car with the 2 Dale Jr. stickers and a case of Budweiser in the back, and he was safe. That's how he got through Georgia.
Did you add the General Lee horn?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was talking to someone the other day, talking about, I think it was Connorsville, and there was a rodeo down there, and somebody said that these people had, the people there had gotten dressed up. I said, it's Connorsville. I was like, getting dressed up means wearing your pair of Wrangler jeans that doesn't have the tobacco ring in the back pocket, and you put on your Dale Earnhardt shirt that doesn't have the sleeves cut off.
Honestly, I'm wearing my Indianapolis Motor Speedway shirt right now, and my nice pair of Wranglers that don't have too many belt loops ripped out. So Dakota's describing me.
That's why I brought it up.
I know. You got blue jeans, Jared, today.
I will say. So on the vacation,
I wanted to bring that up. I've been trying to practice my lefty lingo because I knew you were coming on the show, and I'm pretty sure that vacations are what leftists would call. I think that this thing called white privilege.
I was waiting for it. A vacation is white privilege?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Maybe, I don't know.
There you go.
The as far as I was,
He gets he only gets 2 per 7-year term for his town council position. Once every 4 years, he gets to go on vacation.
once in 4 years.
I'm thankful. I'm just thankful for the labor unions that fought for the
Hey,
5-day work week
I'm a
and the
member of a
vacation
union.
time.
Well,
So,
the labor unions weren't the first ones to
vacation
do
time
that. That
wasn't-
was Henry Ford, a great capitalist in our founding nation.
He was forced into doing it. He
He
forced.
was
He
not
didn't
forced
give
into
anybody.
doing it. He said, I would rather he wanted his employees to be happy, and he wanted them to be paid enough to be able to afford his products because he was the largest employer at the time.
Right.
So the honest truth is that Darrin visited a beach, and the way he earned his way on the show was he carved Boss Hog of Liberty into the beach.
Yes.
You were international.
We were.
You were
It's
on
the
a
second
Bahama
time
beach.
we've had somebody down in the Caribbean listen to the show or do
Yeah, the
something.
first, was that Bones Harcourt?
Bones Harcourt did,
Yeah.
Our official golf pro of the Boss Hog of Liberty.
Yeah.
And so every time somebody goes to the Caribbean and makes their presence known, they get on the show immediately.
Right. Yeah.
You jump to the front of the line.
That's right. I said, we got to have Darrin Jacobs back on now. Dang it.
It was Dakota.
Just wanted to give
He
you guys
did.
the shout out.
He pushed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did push it in our,
Listening to
our
the,
senior group.
The Nate Lamar one on vacation.
Man, oh man.
One thing I did want to bring up that I thought was that we noticed that was interesting. We went to Disney, like I said, about 4 years ago, and the number of people who were in the mobility scooters is just astronomical now compared to even just what it was 4 years ago. Now,
Is it because we don't have single payer health care?
yes, no. Well, what surprised me, and I'm not putting anybody down, and there was a great many people who needed those scooters, but there was some people who, and of course you never know, but there was some people who were younger than me who I was surprised to see in the scooters, and not entirely sure whether or not it was just trying to get ahead, trying to get into line, because a lot of them got to jump the line. And I had read about that too, that they had problems with people who were posing, even families that would hire people in wheelchairs so that they could jump in the line. But it really made it a lot more difficult. And we had a lot of
So
problems.
which family member did you guys put in a wheelchair?
So then we put my son in the mobility scooter. No.
So wait, did you just say that people were hiring people in wheelchairs to go on vacation with them?
At one, yeah,
That
to go
is-
to Disney, to
That's
be able to.
peak capitalism.
I mean, honestly, if you probably could get by. You don't have to pay him money. You just have to pay the $150 a head to get him in
Just
Disney
get him
World.
in, just let him go.
Yeah. And then you have to hang out with him all day, but you get more rides. Is it cashless now? I haven't been to Disney in a while. I went to Epcot probably 6 or 7 years ago was the last time I went, and I heard that they were all wristbands now.
So yeah, they have the Magic Band,
Yeah.
and everything is. You open your hotel room door with it. You can pay with it. All the fast passes, everything. It's got that little chip in it, and yes, they monitor you, and you don't scan it. You're on the ride, and it takes the picture. It knows it's you,
So
and
just
sends
like
it
the
to your
NSA.
phone. Just like
Oh.
So who needs a national card? We're just going to issue these these bands to
all
everybody.
we
We're
need.
just going
It's
to
like-
chip everybody.
We're-
We'll be all right.
Did you see in Citizens of Henry County where I had found the article with the company that was doing the hand implants with the microchip? And I posted it in there the first time, and all I did was post the article and say, what does everybody think of this?
And you got thrown out
Yeah,
immediately
it
for
got
being
it got
a
deleted.
crazy person. And
Yeah.
I tried to explain to you,
Yep.
you have to you're going to get labeled as batshit crazy unless you put some words with it.
So I did. I wrote
You'll
out
be one of them.
I wrote out like 4 paragraphs, talking about what do you think of this microchip in your hand? These people actually really like them. Like the people that are getting them are employees. They really like having this microchip. They get to scan in. They don't have to worry about carrying an ID card or anything. They scan into their workplace. So like where I work I have to take out my wallet and scan the badge, and the gate opens. In this case, I would just put my hand out the window, and they have vending machines in their workplace, and they can just put their hand up to the vending machine, and it'll dispense, and that money is taken from their taken off their paycheck for the next week. So like instead of like carrying your cash with you and putting it in the vending machine, you just put your hand in front of it and you get the chips. Like
You've got it on your phone now. Most phones have RFID in them. I'm not sure I'm committed enough to let somebody stick that in either of my hands.
So I was like, I
A tattoo last week was questionable enough to talk about, let alone a little grain of rice transmitter.
A few years ago, I saw it. I don't know. I think I don't know if the companies are related or not, but it was a company in Sweden. I think
Yeah,
is
it's
where
like really popular in Sweden
it
now.
first
Like,
happened out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like 5 years ago,
Mhm.
and it's like caught on super rapidly there. And like they're not forcing these people.
Mhm.
They're not saying you have to get this, otherwise you can't be an employee here. They're just saying, hey, we have this new technology. If you want to utilize it, the company nurse will do it for you. And so I brought up the question. I said I have always been adamant I would never do that, because I always thought that it would have been the government that would have been making us get the microchips, and they would be spying on us through them. But I'm like, with a private company, what would you do? And it was like immediately like, this is the mark of the beast. The end is near, and the rapture is coming, and it just gets out of hand so quickly. That
What's amazing about the whole thing is it just shows you how far technologies came, and that technology is here to do certain things, even though we're not there yet.
Yeah, as a society as a whole, like,
So did Darrin?
Indiana is definitely not ready.
Did Darrin take the other side of this? Is this the big Facebook debate that you guys had, or something else?
No, that was something else. This was a different thing.
What do you guys get into?
What do you think about the microchip?
So, well, I guess my question would be, I mean, with your point, I mean, if your employer requires you to carry a card, and I could see where they would easily be able to put a chip or track that. So if you're carrying that card, your ID with you, I know other factories have done the same thing where you can use your card to buy at the vending machine, so you don't carry cash. So I guess my question would be, what would be the difference then? I mean, if they're already, and at that point, if they're requiring, saying, Dakota, you must have this ID on you to work for us.
Yeah.
Come on in, man. We got a seat over here for you. Got one of our major listeners walking in the door here.
Lighting's nice.
Yeah, it's big time. Nobody will be able to hear you, so we have to ignore you, Chase. But we got a studio audience again tonight.
That's right. First one in a while.
It's free association, though. If you work there, you can choose to do that. But
taking that stance that, and I think I would be with you as far as if it was ordered that everyone be chipped, or then I would probably be. But
that's where I
guess
go
that,
full Ron Swanson and find a cabin in the woods.
But if you decide to carry that card or do whatever with an employer, then I guess that's your decision.
But like I said, it just immediately turned into it being like the rapture was happening tomorrow because people were getting implants in their hands.
It's your favorite place on the internet, man.
But isn't that maybe that's a difference between people have a very and rightfully so have a very strong feeling about what happens with their body,
Yeah.
Versus if you made it, well, if they tell you you're going to carry this phone, but it puts a 30-foot. Oops.
Oh no, he's destructive.
We're not live anymore. And it puts a 30-foot ring around you where they can monitor you at all times.
Yeah.
What is the difference other than it's putting something in your body? Is that the bigger?
I think that's the issue. People are, and we have to think of our geographical location. We're in rural.
You're in the Bible Belt.
Yeah, we're in Henry County, Indiana, an old steel town. Like that's where we are, and it's
stainless steel.
People are terrified of. People are uncomfortable with the fact that they know people that have tattoos in this county. Still, I mean, it's 2017.
Look at you. You got one showing there, man.
Yeah.
It's ugly.
Man.
Whew, you rule bender.
But, I mean, that's where we've come. And it's not changing here. Like, it's, you can go to places like where I was today. I'm in downtown Carmel today. And it felt like walking in Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, Washington. You know what I mean? Like it's that big of a difference.
I think if you had tried to light up in Carmel today, you would have been tackled by 14 police officers. If you tried to light up in Carmel, in Portland, they would have done it with you.
Yeah,
little different crowd.
I think it depends on what you're smoking.
Yeah,
right?
Well, either way, I think they're oppressive in Carmel.
Carmel might be on your side of the fence there with banning smoking in all of their city.
They've got the most liberal Republican mayor, I think, in the state, though. Don't they?
Yeah,
he's the ultimate tax and spend Republican.
Yes.
They've got them in so much debt.
How'd I get drawn into Aaron Dickens' fight?
I was waiting for the reaction to that. That was perfect.
Of course, there you go again. I told Aaron, go for it if that's what you think. If that's how you feel, And it sounds like they reached some kind of a settlement on that. So that's good.
Yeah, they realized they passed something 20 years ago and they could move on.
Hey, wait a minute. This ordinance starts with a 2.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of that, I wanted to.
So everybody's learning. If you're on the show, you bring gifts to the host.
Bring a gift, and I didn't think I would have brought one of my old campaign signs.
We'll hook you up at some point and get you in here. But the earlier you bring one in, the better chance you have of being photographed with it.
But this is actually, this isn't my labor. I'm using someone else's labor, right?
Amazing.
This is Aaron Dickin created this, but I brought this to you guys.
Oh, brilliant!
We talked about the West Wing,
the Bartlett for America,
and that I've got the Martin Sheen haircut, courtesy of MVP Barbershop.
Yes,
and so there you go. Yeah, I sent a screenshot of this to Aaron probably like a year ago, and or maybe a little less than that. But this was on the first season of the West Wing. There was like just a few seconds of a couple of different episodes where this was hanging, and I found one screenshot of it and sent it to him, and
he reproduced it.
He reproduced it, probably illegally.
It's hard to tell if that's Charlie Sheen or Emilio Estevez. There, it's just they all look so close to me.
We will
get that on the wall.
I've never seen West Wing.
Oh, you're going to have to work on that. It is truly a great show. It's it's ultimately for Darrin because it's the ultimate liberal president, but it is Aaron Sorkin is fantastic. And Darrin, last time he was here, got me hooked on the West Wing podcast, and I've probably listened to 2 seasons of that. I've backed off a little bit now, but I listen
because they just did one with Martin Sheen.
Did they?
It was like 2 episodes ago. It's great.
How's the MS? Is he okay?
The choice between the best Democrat president on TV, whether it's Frank Underwood or Jed Bartlett, I guess I'd have to go with Jed Bartlett on that one.
Interesting. Did Jed Bartlett kill people?
No. Well, I don't know. Somebody could argue that, right? Sent troops into harm's way.
He did. He started
he's a Democrat, so he's probably pro-abortion.
And he got a secretary killed on the show too. Yeah. So I mean, there were some deaths.
Just keep glazing right over that. We'll just keep going.
But we did have a debate on Facebook in a group, didn't we?
Very short debate. It was too late in the night, and Clay hit it right on the head when he said.
This is going back to when we played at Saved Games.
Yeah.
And Clay and myself and Sarah played.
Agenda,
yes, the political game down there that Travis has been trying to get us to play forever. Yeah. So we finally went down and played it, and I gave a ringing endorsement of Darrin and his public utility in Spiceland. And of course, everybody in the town on Facebook turned against Darrin immediately, and it got ugly.
No, it wasn't everybody in the town.
There were a handful.
I mean, it was just me.
Oh,
I'm the only one.
Dakota was originally loud. Dakota was the one who originally, and it wasn't bad. I mean, I knew that I triggered you, and I knew it would. but you write back 3 paragraphs. It's 10:00 at night, and so you win. I concede. Good night, Dakota. Was just like whatever. I'm too old to be fighting on Facebook.
Then that one dude.
Yeah.
He chimes in. And he's like, whenever Darrin Jacobs is involved, he's only got himself in the heart of the interest. He doesn't care about other people. And I'm like, hold on a minute here. Like, this was not the intent of anything. I like Darrin, but I have a fundamental disagreement with his opinion on that. And he was like, I understand Darrin probably has his fans, but I think he's a POS. And I was like, oh my God.
I appreciate that you're one of the fans. Thank you.
Man, yeah. So that we need. When Darrin, over your shoulders, when Aaron Dickin was here, I agreed with him and he printed it out.
Yeah.
So we need to go back and find it and get that framed as well. Some other memorabilia. We're gonna fill the studio up before.
Just
with Dakota's
things that say you win.
Yeah,
all
you win.
The studio.
Dakota's 14 paragraph long speech with Darrin going, hell with it. I don't care anymore. Whatever. It's too late for me, and I don't know why I have social media.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I understand, and I knew, but we're on opposite sides of. I mean, we basically have. You have your team, I have my team in this situation. I mean, we have competing electric companies, and I've got to represent my team, my side, and
although mine still sells to
you. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Of course, we used to have Duke, and then we fired them because they didn't do a good job.
You had Brisket.
So, yeah. Brisket. Oh, I'm sorry.
4-letter electric. No, it's live. It's
man.
These are the dangers.
Well, he was speaking about Duke University.
University. Yes.
Duke of Earl sandwich company.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be Casey's, though. I heard that was the name they're going with now. Is they're going with Casey's, not Duke of Earl.
Oh, yeah.
Sandwiches.
Sandwich, yeah.
Yeah.
Casey's like the general store?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Spiceland's
opening
getting a
up in
Casey's.
Spiceland.
You didn't know that? Spiceland.
Oh, yeah, I did know that. That's pretty neat.
It's very
'Cause
exciting.
They sent out a letter to all of the residents around there and said that the town council is thinking about voting on this and come and voice your opinion.
Oh, no, that was me that sent that out.
Why
The
the hell?
planning commission, yeah.
Why the hell
Okay.
does the town council have to approve
They
that?
didn't. It's a letter that goes out from
Oh, it was just a zoning okay.
Oh,
we
okay.
notify anytime it was because they're going to sell gas there. One of the requirements under Henry County is that anything that sells gas has to get commission approved use from the planning commission, just because there's a danger or concern with the gasoline. So any kind of
Okay.
gas station, whether
in the county, not in the
county.
city limits.
right, which Spiceland is part of
Right.
under the county zoning. So yeah, we sent out a notification to all the neighbors.
Those poor bastards have to be.
and,
They're under your thumb twice. Each of your thumbs is over those people.
I think I try to serve
Just
the
one on
I
each
try to
side.
serve the residents of Spiceland as best I can, and that's all I can say.
they're also going to serve warm beer there, right? They're
I
going to
would-
sell it.
I would assume they
And-
would, yeah, and they can't sell it cold.
And if
because-
Not yet.
and if the libertarians get their way, they will be able to sell it cold and on Sundays.
and see,
What's the cold thing?
well,
They can't sell it cold because it's not a restaurant.
or a an actual liquor store. It's a convenience
Yeah.
store,
Gotcha,
similar
gotcha.
to Walmart or Kroger, and I actually kind of got excited at first because I thought, oh, there's going to be cold beer in town, and I was thinking.
But
And
that
my
wouldn't
wife was the
matter
one
'cause
who
you're
reminded me.
drinking
I just
Diet
drink
Pepsi.
Pepsi. That's all I drink.
Yeah.
But my
course.
wife reminded me that it couldn't be sold, but they can sell Apple products. Did you know that? So,
Yep.
so
Yep.
the Mad Dog 2020, the
Yeah,
Boone's Farm,
and
which is
the-
actually all Apple.
Because that's a
And the-
wine.
yeah.
You can sell cold wine.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's like Kroger has their the little
Yeah.
corner in there has the hard cider, the
So
chilled
now
hard
all the
cider.
hard cider can be sold cold.
You know, that's so. These are the rules.
But
they're going to work on
Casey's
it.
is going to have a soft serve ice cream machine. So,
Brilliant.
They've got that. I visit the Casey's
so
at,
long diet.
in Newcastle very often. They make a nice sandwich. I like it very much. So good for Spiceland.
So I hope they get a sponsorship. That's Casey's. No,
That's right. That's right. So the big statewide topic, and we planned this like immediately. This story hit, I think, probably Friday of last week or Thursday of last week. We taped early last week, so we've been off the air a long time, and it's been pent up. But there's a guy named Jim Lucas. He's a state representative from Southern Indiana. He represents North Vernon and Seymour. I think he's from Seymour. Small business guy, owns the awning company. And he was elected in 2012 as a Republican to the state legislature. I was running around with, as always, Rex Bell in 2012, and there was a forum in North Vernon at an old theater in their downtown district. And Jim was speaking. He was trying to get elected as well. So we sat through every county council and county commissioner and county coroner,
Yeah.
all of the forums for whatever county that North Vernon is in.
Dedication.
And we get to the end. I listened to Jim, and he gave his speech, and I was like, "Oh my God, this guy's a libertarian!" Like I had to go talk to him too. And then Rex did his thing, and so I met Jim that night, and I kind of added him on Facebook, and followed his career. And he's been a very big proponent of Second Amendment and constitutional carry and those types of issues. And he's also, by the way, the guy that's carrying the medical cannabis stuff in this next session. So Jim has, tongue-in-cheek, introduced a bill, or he had a bill drafted in the last session that basically said that they wanted to regulate the First Amendment the same as the Second Amendment is regulated. So if you wanted to practice journalism in the state of Indiana, you needed to go to the state police and be fingerprinted.
He took the
exact
actual
language
law and just substituted journalism
for carrying a weapon. So he took the exact language and the steps you have to go through to get your handgun permit, and he replaced it with journalism for the First Amendment. And he made the national news. It blew up incredibly. I saw the story, and I was, as a libertarian, it tickled me. I sent it to Darrin and told him, "Hey, we're going to talk about this." And of course, Darrin was thoroughly upset by the thought of what was potentially going to happen, because it was bad policy or whatever. Obviously, you would never want to enact this, but it struck me so it points out the hypocrisy, as your friend Ann Delaney would say on Indiana Week in Review.
And he has a valid, and I said we're going to do the gun episode, and I said I'm kind of a blue dog when it comes to the gun rights. I mean, I probably side more along the libertarian side when it comes to gun rights. My issue with this wasn't the argument or the discussion he wanted to have. It was how he was going to have it. And I thought
it was just in poor taste.
It was in poor taste. And to quote one of the reporters from the Brisket Gazette, who said on your Facebook page,
he's on here next week, by the way.
Is he?
Kevin is, yes.
Yeah. He said, "What an ass hat." And I was like, I can't like this enough. To me, and not only was it just about the way he was doing it, but it was a not too veiled attempt to bully the Indianapolis Star. I mean, that's what it started with. He was not happy with the coverage that he was getting with the Indianapolis Star.
Well, he did it right after Trump had tweeted out about the mainstream media.
I'm like, that's all we need is another Trump. And it was
right. And you know what the scary thing is that you have the person who's supposed to be the leader of the free world, right? And I defend Trump in a lot of issues. A
little too much for my taste.
I mean, I take that upon myself. I will defend Trump if he needs defending, because I think he's done some good things and he has some good ideas. A lot of them, no, absolutely not. I mean, quite frankly, the majority of them probably not. But
if you stay here too long, you're going to get lost in like a whole.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like.
No, I know what you mean.
He's come out with all these different things. It's just like it's just like the kneeling. The leader of the free world is calling for people to be fired for protesting.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't matter your personal opinion. It doesn't matter his personal opinion about the mainstream media. You are arguably one of the most famous people on the face of the earth. You can't just say things like that and expect them to go over smoothly. Like, you can't do things like that. And it's totally unprofessional, and it paints every single constituent.
Right. Yeah. When you call them SOBs, and I mean, yeah, and obviously he's done a few things that kind of have went sideways.
I get it. Everybody that voted for him will tell you the same thing. Well, I like him because he speaks his mind. He's not a regular politician, and I like that. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's cool, He's not a regular politician. I can respect your feelings for that, because I think it's cool he's not a regular politician too. Like, whatever, but I also think, like we talked about last week, he's just playing a very extensive game, and he knows what he's doing. But
I think he's a village idiot. I don't think it's going to last.
I'll agree that he's playing a game. I won't agree that he knows what he's doing. But
he knows what he's doing with the game, maybe not his policies.
So that's where Jim jumped right on that train.
Jim
rode with it.
Jim is very, very good. Jim Lucas is at learning at finding ways to make headlines and use social media to his advantage. I think he's been very skilled at that. And 85% of the time, Jim and I are very close politically. His love of Trump is a little much for me.
But was actually proposing a bill the appropriate way to do it? Or could he
He didn't put it in place.
It's just drafted.
He simply drafted it just to point out the ridiculous restrictions we have, because what he's saying is you are taking what should be a natural right and you're licensing it for a fee. So, of course, your First Amendment rights are completely yours and they should not be infringed upon. But neither should your Second Amendment. So you're saying you want all of these reasonable restrictions against your Second Amendment rights, where we have to go schlep ourselves down to, I had to go get fingerprinted at this. Well, actually, I went to the county police, and that was the wrong place, because at the time I lived in the city, so I had to go down to the Newcastle Police Department, get a 10 card done, go get 2 different money orders, one to pay the extortion to the county and one to pay the extortion to the state, and then 6 weeks later they give me the right to carry a card that says I can have a gun for the rest of my life. Even though it's a shall issue state, I've done nothing wrong. I should be able to carry it. And that's what he's been trying to advance, is saying, hey, it's constitutional carry. You don't need to have this card at all. And I think there's already 10 states that have it already. Because it doesn't. What's it accomplish? We license all kinds of freedoms.
I mean, it's just like every person I've ever been in a wreck with has had a driver's license.
Yeah.
When you first brought this up, of course, I have some issues with how he did it, but the longer I got to thinking about it, there was no downside to him to doing this. And actually, the more he got the media exposure, the more it went national, because it's blowing up all of the liberal Facebook groups I'm on. And I'm like, this guy's his bank account's got to be just growing for the congressional campaign or whatever he's planning on next, because you know that he's gearing up for something.
I think at some point, he had considered the U.S. Senate seat, and then he saw that there were 3 powerhouses there, and probably said he's young and he can wait his turn.
But I almost feel like, I mean, he becomes almost an icon by bullying the media, and
Sure.
I think that's not,
Which is very Trump.
I know, and it's sad that that's where our society is. That if he can bully them, beat up on them, there's no downside to it. I mean, I thought, I don't know. I just
The editor of the Indianapolis Star, I will tell you from personal experience working on Rex Bell's campaign, he painted Rex like he was a crazy person too. Like the name escapes me right now, but I think it's Tim something. Whoever the editor is, and he'll write an opinion piece maybe once every couple of months, and he did that this time with Lucas last weekend. He will take just a tiny fraction of something and extrapolate it out and turn it into a hit piece. I've seen it a number of times myself, so I feel for him on that side. The Indy Star is. I'm a subscriber. I enjoy their sports page. I read for the local business stuff. Politically, Gary Varvel's fine. I enjoy Gary Varvel's stuff, but Matt Tolley, whatever. Half of those are crazy too, but I'll take it. That's fine. But their editor himself, I'm not a big fan. And if I'll remember his name here in a second, and I'll call him out by name. Oh man!
So we need to move on to our rifle topic here for deer hunting.
Yeah. So the state of Indiana went ahead and made some changes to, I guess, through the legislature. They tried to clean something up, and they wound up breaking another law.
Yep.
Where they outlawed any rifles on public land, essentially.
So if you remember, a few years ago, it was a really big deal because everybody found
Tim
out
Swearens. Tim Swearens is my guy at the Indy Star.
Okay.
Half Truth Tim.
Well, everybody got excited. A few years ago, they were allowed to hunt with a rifle on public property, which is like some people thought that was fantastic because they could shoot a deer from 300 yards away.
Because
I'm the one who is walking into the public land thinking, holy cow, a guy could be shooting at a deer 500 yards away and shoot me on accident.
At that time, though, it was just pistol caliber.
Yeah, it's just pistol rounds.
So you're looking at...
And that's what it should be. That was still legal until they accidentally banned it this year.
Yeah.
Right. And now you can't have any rifles.
If you remember Indiana residents on your ballot this year, there was a public question. I think it was public question number 1, and it was about the hunting and fishing question.
Right, and it's one of those questions that was phrased as, "Do we want to make sure that this is always protected?"
Right.
Yeah,
and and what they're doing is they're taking away. This is the same reason why this need to stop messing with the Constitution. The vagary in the Constitution protects your freedoms explicitly. By anything that's left out of it means it's your right. It's not there to be regulated. Now what we do is we introduce language that specifically carves out what they can and can't do, and then it creates the question that now people that 2 generations down the line, all of a sudden now they have the authority to meddle because it's there and they can read between the lines.
Right, and that was
instead of a shall not
the
mess
public
with.
question. They wanted to add hunting and fishing to the Indiana State Constitution. And if you're like me on social media, then you follow a lot of hunting and fishing groups because I enjoy hunting and I enjoy fishing. Just in a couple weeks, we're getting ready to go squirrel hunting, aren't we, Jerry?
We are. I'm very excited. I'm learning that the man barely knows how to cast, but he enjoys fishing.
Yeah, I
he enjoys fishing as much as I as much as I.
Professional poles that you have, I'm not on a Bassmasters TV show.
Chase is in here in the corner. I've got to explain this to him. We're not talking about just a bait caster. We're talking about just an open reel. Like we're not.
I had no idea how to use
an open bail
reel.
Is what he can't do.
I've always just used the ones like
push the
ones
button
that
and throw. The Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones with the buttons. That's the ones that we've always had at my house. Never had an open reel.
But I love hunting and fishing.
But yeah.
Really? Take this test.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. But it's going to be just as bad when he takes me squirrel hunting. I've literally we'll get into that in a minute. But I've never. This will be my very first time. So
yeah,
he'll be able to ridicule me too.
There we go. That's what I like to hear. No, but it was posed as a question, and they made it seem like if we didn't do this, then one day our hunting rights could be taken away.
Right.
So whenever I read it for the first time, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely want to vote yes for that. Until you actually start thinking about it, and then after that, I was like the guy walking around, the world is ending, like yelling at everybody that I know, like, do not vote yes on the question on the ballot. Don't do it. It's a trap.
That's exactly right. And Phyllis Klosinski, a longtime We're Libertarians contributor, wrote a great piece explaining why we shouldn't get into
good
it.
Job with that.
And unfortunately, the word didn't get out in the past because why the hell won't we want to protect hunting and fishing? Yeah. And it just, this is an illustration of why when you get into these regulations, instead of just using common sense, you get into this mess.
And then we accidentally start banning things that we didn't even know.
We ban things accidentally we wanted to make legal.
Yeah.
So now, Clay, you deer hunt, but you do it on private ground, right? I think we were talking about that a week or two ago.
Mainly private ground. Yeah,
so this won't affect you necessarily.
No, it won't affect me. But I have the past couple of years hunted on state park ground for deer reduction. So
did you use rifle or muzzleloader?
I had a .44 Magnum rifle that I used.
So you wouldn't be able to do that this time.
I couldn't do that this time.
Right.
We didn't get drawn this time for some reason, so don't have to worry about it this year. But yeah, technically, what I used before, I could not use this year. Yeah.
Darrin, do you participate at all?
I used to. I used to hunt a little bit when I was younger, and I used to deer hunt every year. I haven't done it. I don't know. It's probably been 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe even. Yeah. I was in my late teens probably the last time I went hunting. So, and I know the concern. I remember having that conversation with my dad about why, because at that time we're talking back in the 90s and early 2000s. Why can't we use a rifle to hunt? And he was talking about the concerns, and I actually worked.
It's too flat, basically, as everybody always said back in the day.
And and I actually worked with a guy who his neighbor was outside target shooting and missed his target, and it went through this guy's house and killed him in his house. So
I mean, rifles are no joke.
Knowing where that bullet's going to go,
that's
why,
was
what Dad always expressed.
Yeah,
that's why I'm so nervous.
Serious,
like we were talking about going squirrel hunting. We originally had it sketched on the calendar that we were going to go on Saturday.
Yeah, this week.
And I didn't think about it, but all the campgrounds and everything they're open still this weekend.
Yeah.
And that public hunting ground is very close to where the campgrounds are. And I can remember one of the older gentlemen that we camp with down there, Ray, was talking to me, and he's like, yeah, you better be careful with your 22 out there, because with how flat, and we're on top of a hill here, and it's flat on top of this hill, but then it just goes down, and he said that 22 round could easily travel almost a mile.
Yeah.
He said, I bet that thing could make it to the lake. And that is terrifying to me. Like, if I'm shooting up in the air towards a squirrel in the tree, and then all of a sudden it comes down and just hits some innocent person on a boat. That is the worst.
If it's anything like my golf game, though, it's going to hit a tree very quickly.
Yeah. But the chances are very slim, but why would you want to even take the chance?
Of course. So, there's
a couple more things on our show notes here about the hunting.
Yes, sir.
Is a hunting license even constitutional? Should we even have a hunting license?
I don't think it's I don't even think that's a question to get into, really, as far as at a federal level, really.
Not at a federal level. On the state.
Should you have
to go to Walmart and buy your hunting and fishing license in order to hunt and fish?
I personally don't see a problem in it, because it again, some of these other issues we've been talking about the guns and the who's out there shooting, who's doing this, who's doing that, and then you also got the tag limit on there too. Is that constitutional? And so I'm going to bring that into this statement.
You've got some stewardship issues.
Exactly. Just conservation. Trying
to make
sure. So as a body of citizens, like we're here in Indiana, so the body of citizens for the state of Indiana can decide these issues in how they manage their game and how they manage their hunting and fishing.
No, I was actually hoping that Jeremiah would take that and
Oh, sorry, Jeremy.
try to say no, that we shouldn't have any kind of licensing.
No, actually, I take people fishing. I took Brett Bittner fishing and Chris Spangle fishing last year, and I made both of them actually get a fishing license, a day license or an annual license. And Spangle, by God, was the one guy that we actually were out there on the White River, and the DNR came up and made us show our life vests and our fishing licenses for the. So he was.
They are serious about it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the first time I've never had somebody ask me before. I was like, hey man, you should get it. Yes. I've never had somebody ask me, but I don't want them taking all of my stuff because they will steal from me. They will take everything I have. Yep. So please have it.
My father-in-law is the chaplain for the state of Indiana for the DNR.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we know a lot of those guys, and
they take it legit.
Super guys. But yeah, they take it very seriously.
So so that and he had it and we showed it and we moved on.
I would agree wholeheartedly with the hunting licenses, fishing licenses, on the tag limits on public
on
property.
The fishing side. I do support them because it pays for your restocking. You know, in a river, maybe that's not as big of a deal, but if you're dealing with a reservoir and you want, if you participate in like walleye fishing, all of the walleye that come in Indiana come from Brookville Reservoir, and then they come out every year, and there's a team of people that go out and they harvest the walleye, and they take the eggs and make a little walleye batter, and and then they will.
Everybody's eating fish right now.
And
walleye caviar.
Yeah, and then they will They'll raise the fingerlings, and then they'll release them in Prairie Creek and in Blue River and in different places.
Cool.
So the walleye that you catch at not Big Blue River, at Summit Lake, which is the Big Blue where it's impounded, those are from Brookville. They started there and they're all stocked. So they stock them every year and they monitor it and they go through and deal with that.
Cool. I didn't know that.
So that's a conservation effort that you're paying for. So the $15 or $20 you pay is what actually makes sure that you have that in the public grounds. It's a reasonable user fee.
On the hunting side too, isn't there some similar, like the turkey that are around here? It was basically they were hunted out to the point that there wasn't anything around here, and what we've got now has been released.
Yep.
And that's why you have to pay for. If you have a fishing license, then you have to get a trout stamp. Trout are something that are stocked, so they will take those and put them in the.
Is that where you get a trout tattoo on your lower back?
That's something different.
A trout stamp.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, and you were talking about Clay's dad jokes. That's the worst one yet.
Dakota's got a bright future in dad jokes, apparently.
I will say, so the best moment as far as jokes on this show was when you had Aaron Dickin on, and you asked what was the toughest part to eat, or you were talking about eating an elephant. You said what was the toughest part, or what was it? Now I'm saying it wrong. Yeah. What was the least tender part? And he said the heart.
Yeah.
How dare he come on this show and says the best joke wasn't from one of us?
Right?
It was from the other token Democrat we've had on.
It's got to be Aaron.
Now we're gonna have to wait to have you on until the next time you go to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Another 4 years.
I hope you go soon.
Wow.
Oh,
what is that saying? I think we should just clip that little soundbite there
hope he
of
goes
Jeremiah telling Darrin, "I hope you go soon."
Like Rush Limbaugh and Obama. I hope he fails.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I miss Darrin, and I hope he goes down there and comes back soon, so he earns another trip back on the show.
I will say, you guys have done a phenomenal job, and I'm a long-time listener. I've listened from the very beginning, from those early shows, and you're out on your pool with Tanner Purdue, and struggled through some of those early shows. And I think you guys you're doing great. I mean, you're expanding with what you're doing, and not only that, but the show's coming together. I think Clay's helped out a lot too. It might help that he's used to trying to keep a bunch of rowdy boys in order. So
yep. We need our father figure here. Yeah,
we needed a father figure.
That's right.
I am the elder. I am the elder.
I think the show has
Clay
just
is much
continued to
older.
grow, and it's you guys are doing a good job.
We appreciate that.
You're putting down a good product.
So. Yeah, we're trying. We've come a long way. Dakota's got these show notes that we're trying to use to keep us straight. When I found the backs of envelopes as I cleaned out my office, I found a lot of show notes where I had a plan where on the back or paper plates.
Yeah, one time we had the show notes on a paper plate, a used paper plate at that.
Like very fiscally conservative.
Yeah,
very thrifty.
But now we're professional.
Yeah, well, semi-professional. Although the show notes today, Dakota had me print them out, and they are on cardstock.
I noticed that.
That's very high quality.
I noticed that.
I accidentally. That's what happens when you buy paper on Amazon.com, and it shows up, and you're like, "Oh my God, the printer can barely pull this through." And it's the ultimate for paper airplanes. It's some stout stuff. So
I think we've arrived at final thoughts here.
I guess we are. We're just about through it.
I only see one question on here that I am interested in, though. Should you make squirrel barbecue? And I vote yes.
Squirrel.
Oh, I
yeah.
think squirrel.
I'm not sure that we're
Squirrel
gonna
barbecue.
I vote
Very
yes.
good.
Whenever
Are we
going to
actually come home with squirrel? I don't want to set high expectations, and then I've never done it before, so I don't know.
You know,
We're both going to get our limit, which they reduced to 5 per person now. It used to be 7. Now it's 5.
what's it say?
I'm gonna
Seven.
bequeath all 5 of mine to you. I'm pretty sure that I'm not gonna be coming home with a squirrel.
You're not gonna be fixing any?
Oh well, okay. We will.
It's very low carb.
I'm sure it is.
Very lean meat.
Amongst rodents, I'm sure it's amongst the lowest carb rodent that exists.
That's what I call them, tree rats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like you and I are going to have separate but equal squirrel. We're going to pool them together.
You've got it. Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
have a collective squirrel
for the
pot.
good of the group. Everybody
Yes.
will throw in their squirrels, and everybody will get
And
their own portion.
As long as
So
you
to
and I,
speak.
as long as
Yeah.
you and I decide amongst ourselves, and there's not a some sort of an outside entry saying that I have to give you my squirrel.
No. I think
Yeah.
it needs to be,
I will give you my
enforced.
I
squirrel.
mean, as long as there's not the threat of a man with a gun coming to my house and telling me I have to give it to you.
But
It's all democratic though.
the real problem is if Clay and Darrin vote to take some of our squirrel and
Yeah.
give it to the kids at the school that are needy.
Well, they
now we
need
have a
squirrels,
problem because now I have to shoot them and the squirrel.
Wow,
Oh.
there's the threat.
Well,
I'm just talking about Darrin and Clay, not the kids.
Well, then it's fine.
I'm glad you clarified because
Yeah, I was confused.
So we threatened our featured guest and our co-host.
He knew
By the
what
way-
was happening when he joined.
So we do need to.
I feel like I got off really easy, actually.
This could have been much worse.
It would have been a lot worse had you worn your Bernie shirt, I'm sure.
Next time.
We all think that NASA is generally a pretty good thing.
It's helped to produce these.
So yeah, absolutely, and Tang. So on the table we have a MVP barbershop advertisement,
Yes,
the big
it's an
sign,
advertisement. Yes,
the logo,
yes.
because Clay has once again stepped up and made another donation to the show. Dear leader Chris Spangle's providing, as he always does, with equipment, and we have some sort of a thing that's going to deal with this hissing and popping that drives us crazy. I don't think it's as bad on the pot, for people out there, but we can tell when we peak.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to donate that, but he said, hey, you need these cables, and it's going to cost some money. So I said, hey, Dakota, I'll pitch in half, and you pitch in half. And Clay's like, no, don't worry about it. I just want to put out an MVP barbershop sign, give me a couple of plugs,
There you go.
and it'll work out.
And now I have a
it's-
tax write-off.
And now
It's
he's got a
every-
tax write-off.
It's every week before the podcast that he provides all of our
Right.
listeners with this.
That's right.
With the opportunity for that
beautiful
haircut.
locks.
In fact, every head at this table, I don't know if Clay cuts his own hair.
Except me.
Except for Clay.
That's the barber's hair.
We all,
Yes.
I've seen every
Where
one of
do
us
you
visit
go
that
get your
place in the last
haircut?
month.
I've always wondered that.
Yeah. Usually, that's why it's kind of longer right now, because I wait so long. But I go to Maxwell's Barbershop
In Muncie.
Muncie,
That's over by
Indiana.
my office.
Yep.
That's on Memorial Drive.
That's where I used to work.
There you go.
Yep. Brian Richards, Heath Snyder. Yep.
There you go.
Maxwell's
I
Barbershop.
Did not
So
realize
if you're
that.
in Muncie,
Yeah,
good
my
guy.
coworker Rob Holt goes
I
over
might
there.
have to
so
start
gets
driving
his
to
haircut.
Muncie.
Does he get his haircut by you?
who's that?
The guy who cuts your hair.
Oh no,
Is
they
it-
cut each other's.
Yeah, this is the.
I used to when I
One-
was up there.
When you have one barber in there, you get a one barber lifestyle. You have to go somewhere else. It's a
Exactly.
paradox.
Exactly.
At least you're not going to Famous Hair or something, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great clips.
I don't know. They get some specials sometimes. $4.99 haircut, and they're worth every penny.
It probably is.
I would rather pay 10 and go to Clay.
There you go. Thank you.
There you go. Why do you only pay 10?
10's the
He
weekly
charges-
It's the
special.
weekly plan.
10 is the weekly plan.
Costs me $15 every time I go in there,
It does.
and I have
It
to
does.
listen to 30 minutes of Glenn Beck.
If you went in today
Darrin
there was a
listens to
comedy
Glenn Beck,
show
too.
on.
when he comes in.
Just tune it out. I just
He's-
tuned it out.
he's forced.
I was happy
He's-
there was cartoons on the other day when I came in. I look in and see if there's any kids in there. I'm like, okay, it's safe
Oh,
to go
good.
in. No
Yeah,
Glenn
yeah.
Beck today.
Well, the last time I went in, Darrin had just gone in the shop, and he
That was
snuck in front of me,
perfect, yeah.
and it was just the three of us in there. And I said, "Well, the hell with I'm leaving." I got in the door. It was Darrin, and I was like, "I'm out." And then I just started taking pictures and making Darrin uncomfortable.
Darren's probably
Very
going to
uncomfortable.
request that I pay for his haircut.
Yeah, just 40% of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. So yeah, did Tanner Purdue make it in? By the way, he was asking me on Wednesday.
He didn't, but when I got, because today I actually had a very slow day, so I took off a couple times because it just got so stir crazy.
Yeah.
But then I looked at my phone and I noticed he tried to call me on Messenger.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's my one friend that'll call on Messenger.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Yeah. So I imagine it was because he was wondering if I was open or
he
something.
was asking on
He
Wednesday.
was trying to get to be good looking for the show tonight.
He's did the big We Are Libertarians
Gotcha.
tonight. So
yeah.
Big a lot of content on the We Are Libertarians Network today. We got the two shows there and ours here.
So we got final thoughts now?
Yeah, I think we're at that point. Darrin, you're the featured guest. What you got anything to plug? I know y'all just had your Jefferson Jackson Day dinner where I don't know, you talked about how great of a libertarian Thomas Jefferson used to be, and talked about the war criminal Andrew Jackson.
I actually wasn't at I was.
Oh, you were out of state.
Yeah, we were still on vacation.
And you didn't make the big unveiling of the economic the plan at
nope,
the RMC.
I wasn't there
either.
for that either. No,
Man,
I know.
You picked a good week to leave the county. All the major things you've been building towards are just not happening.
I had I don't have anything to plug, but I had something that just waiting for this show. I had this came up in my news feed, and I wanted to bring it up to you guys to see what you thought. So yeah.
All right.
So this was from the Daily Kosh.
The Daily Kos. Yes. Very familiar with that rag.
And this is talking about Representative Tim Walberg. He's from, I think it's Michigan, held a town hall in his district. And although he had several crotchety supporters in the audience, he did take a few questions from constituents who were less than thrilled with his track record, particularly with his inept response, or lack thereof, to Donald Trump's reckless tweeting and poor leadership. During the question and answer period, one attendee described how angry she is with President Trump's tweets. Representative Walberg responded, "I can't control his tweets. I have to answer to his tweets. I don't like to answer to some of those tweets. In all honesty, but I'm not the president. I can do what I'm supposed to do, so that's what we're going to do. And those of you that think that those are impeachable offenses for tweets, come on, get a life, get a life, get a life." One of the audience members yelled, "Did you just tell us to get a life?" "I did," he responded, "I did." So
it's in-person ship hosting going on at a town hall.
So yeah, exactly. And so I guess my question is, number one, I mean, I do think that people are taking heat for President Trump, and that not necessarily called for. Nobody can control what he's doing.
Is this guy an incumbent Republican, or is he a Democrat?
This is a Republican. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've looked him up. This is not somebody who I would support, and I probably would have been in the audience yelling back at him. But my question is him saying to these people to get a life. I mean, they're asking questions. They're asking questions that maybe that he has no control over. I think the part that pushed him over to say get a life was when they started screaming that he should impeach Trump over his tweets.
Right.
So it was the idea of, get a life. That's not going to happen. It's not an impeachable offense. So did he cross the line? Did get a life? Did that cross the line of as an elected official? Did he take it too far? Or
I mean, it's easy to sit back here and look at this as I'm sitting behind a microphone and listening to this story and go, yeah, he took that way too far. He shouldn't have ever told his constituents that he needed to get a life because they were voicing an opinion to him. I mean, that's a really easy thing to say, but at the same time, I don't know how I would react to people screaming at me and yelling at me to do things that I have no power to do.
Well, and that's my point, though, is that in our day-to-day lives, I mean, especially, you deal with, I guess we can talk about Brisket Electric Company, and there are times when people's electric is out, and they want it back on right now.
Yeah,
and
the mayor, yeah.
Yeah, and you will get yelled, and sometimes people will get rude with you. And we've gotten to this point that for some reason we feel like it's okay for the constituents to get rude. It's okay if I call in the customer service rep for Verizon for me to get rude with them. It's okay for me if my McDonald's order gets mad to storm in and throw the McDonald's at somebody and that we expect that those employees to try to be professional, you to be professional if someone's upset about the electric being out, or the Verizon rep to be professional, or in this case, the elected official. But at some point, it seems like it's out of balance. It's if the general public feels the need to be able to attack but we expect that these people to stay always professional and to never slip up and say something. I don't know. What's your opinion?
That's what I try to tell people. If you're mad at your local government, or if you're mad at government, then go to a city council meeting and go to a county council meeting and don't even say anything. Just sit there. Just sit there, watch them talk after the meeting. And it's after that moment that people like the mayor and people like Aaron Dickin and Clay stop becoming, like we talked about earlier, just avatars. They stop becoming like these people that are just characters in our mind that aren't human. Because that's what we've come to, is these people aren't actually people.
Yeah.
They're just
you have that access at your local meetings, though. You don't necessarily. That's the most access you're going to have to that congressman.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If the people that are in the county government, if you can sit there and realize these are just humans, the same as I am a human, and I shouldn't get angry at them, until they do something that actually physically provokes me.
There's a video.
Then you can realize that your congressman or your senator or your president is a human person.
Right. What you can look this up and watch the video, and up until that point, the representative was, again, I mean, he was saying things that I wouldn't agree with, but I felt, the audience is booing, cheering, hissing. I mean, there's one point which a guy who's closest to the camera, the representative talks about repealing and replacing Obamacare, and this guy gets so physically upset that his legs go up in the air and he stomps them down, and he is enraged. And the representative knew who this guy was. He says, calm down, Tim, before you blow a gasket or something, and continues on.
Right.
And this was a crowd that was not. They were trying to elicit a response from him.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a matter of your personality, right? I mean, is that the way? If I was serving as a congressman, is that the way I would react? Probably not. Dakota and I had this conversation earlier. I don't get that angry because when you let somebody else get you angry, you're giving them power over you. That's kind of the way I look at it. So I'm generally pretty low key, and I'll be more conversational. Some people are just hotheads too, and I don't know how that fellow is.
I've always viewed that anger is a waste of emotion, because you can be happy. You can be joyous, you can be sad, but the moment that you become angry is whenever your mental clarity and even your physical clarity is just so blurred. You become can't make decisions. I become blinded if I get mad, and it's like instant regret. Like after that, so it's just any situation where I can see myself start to get mad, I instantly try to stop that and go the other way, because I think it's a total waste of time and energy.
Councilman?
Well, I'm just sitting here listening, taking it all in.
At some point, he's going to be running for Congress, so he has to reserve the right to be a dick to the crowd.
No, I think, what you guys said pretty much sums it up. It's just that we've reached a point now where we've created such an angry mess, and it's both. You can find it on both sides, where we've got this.
I thought we were supposed to say all three sides.
Well, all three sides.
Yes. All sides of that coin.
All sides. All sides.
He's going to serve another 1 week suspension from the show. Is what's going to happen. You're going to miss the Kevin Green episode.
There's so much tension. Everybody wants to attack somebody, and to be quite honest, I said this through the whole 2016 election. One of the reasons Trump was able to overcome so much is because so many people just wanted somebody to get punched in the face. They were mad. They felt like they've been held down. They've been held back. And they wanted somebody to get punched in the face. And by golly, Donald Trump would do it.
Yep. Well, every time I see a post about white privilege, I think that's why Trump won.
Well, and that's why
he won Michigan.
We're here.
That's why he won the presidency.
And so you have some really good leaders, because I've never been one of these guys that say they're all this or they're all that, because I know some of these people, just a few, and they're good people.
Yeah.
But I think we've created such a hot pot that when we do these town halls, people come. I mean, we've had local meetings. You know this. We've had local meetings that have gotten hot. I remember a lady coming to speak. She was shaking before she even reached the mic. And it was like, holy cow, she's going to blow. So she hit the mic, she did. And honestly, she didn't do her side any favors by the way she presented herself. And that's what happens on both sides. So when the crowd wants blood, that's not going to end well. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, the elected official is expected to be not human and perfect. And I just think some of them, and like you can't defend a guy saying, telling his constituents, get a life. But at the same time, you say, you're human. We're human.
I might tell them to go back to being keyboard warrior in their mom's basement. There's a good chance that may come out of my mouth.
No, and here's the thing. Honestly, in our heart, that's kind of the truth. It's like sometimes you want to say, look, people, come on.
Well, does a representative owe it to their constituents to tell them, no, you're wrong? I mean, you can't always agree with everyone. Not everybody is right all the time. Yeah. And so does is it incumbent on a representative to say, no, you're wrong? Now, not necessarily say get a life.
Right. No, I think that's part of our government. It's like I always heard Luke Messer would always talk about how government's hard, and he said there's a reason it's hard. It should be hard, So so sometimes
my mother's made a comment that has everybody pointing at each other in the live feed right now.
but
are you saying that I picked a story that was an analog for something we've dealt with here?
It's shocking.
I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Shocking.
But anyways, everybody's human.
Here.
Everybody's human, and on both sides, everybody's human, and so it's going to happen. So do you grill a person for it? I mean, I've said things. I flew off the handle, I've launched a coffee cup at my cement pad basketball court before.
Well, as long as you haven't launched it at a constituent, I guess you're okay.
It wasn't a constituent.
My dad is one of those people where he'll get mad, but as soon as he just gets the opportunity to throw something, then he's
it's all better.
Calm down. Like I've seen my dad throw so many things. Like I've seen him throw golf clubs that went farther than the golf ball, and I've seen him. Just throw. So I saw him throw a grill off a deck one time.
Hopefully with nothing lit inside of it. I hope.
No, he couldn't get it lit. That's why he
threw
it.
Yeah, I've thrown lawnmowers before that I couldn't get to start.
I've seen him throw
not riders. I'm not.
He's
I'm
Superman.
not like Clay Morgan over here.
I've seen him throw a weed whacker. Yeah,
I've probably thrown that too.
Just over his head.
Man, chuck it.
Oh yeah. Anyways.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing that up. That was fun.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic. It's going to cost you $50 an hour next time.
The only other thing, I don't have anything else to plug, but I thought this was funny. I'm watching a show on Netflix called Mind Hunters.
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to watch that.
And it's set in the 70s, and it's about the FBI. It's a fictional story about how they started to see patterns in serial killers and started to be able to.
It's about them developing the term serial
killer. Yep, yeah. and being able to profile and talking to serial killers. And at one point, one of the characters says, Richard Nixon is a sociopath, and the other guy says, how does a sociopath become president? And the other character said, the better question today is, how does someone become president without being a sociopath? So I thought it was very apt.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, how do you get elected to any office at this point and volunteer for it? Raise your hand and say, I want that job.
And I feel like it gets worse the higher up you get, and I pull it back to Jim Lucas that I think that, and I'm not saying he's a sociopath, but I'm saying it takes a certain personality to continue to climb that ladder, and it seems like that as the farther up they get, the cream, or maybe less than, rises to the top sometimes.
You've done this for long enough now, and Clay, you have too, and Dakota's learning. You start to get thicker skin. Like it thickens up in a hurry.
You have to.
Where you
have to.
I've put up with stuff both in my professional life and on the political side where you just kind of you get stuff thrown at you, and you start to learn.
You tell Dakota Davis, you win, I concede. Good night, Dakota. You mean that type
exactly.
of thing?
Exactly. So, well, anyway, thank you very much for making the return appearance.
Thank you for having me.
If people want to track you down, Twitter, Facebook.
I did install the Facebook app back on my phone, so it's on there. If
he's
they want
available.
to go, I don't know that I'll necessarily friend
Now I
you.
can debate you all night long,
Yeah,
right?
but I do have there's a Darrin Jacobs for Spiceland. There's a campaign page if you want to.
There we go. For when you finally have to run for re-election. If we want to catch you at a town council meeting, how often do y'all meet down there? When does the Spiceland Town Council meet?
We meet the first Wednesday of every month.
First Wednesday.
6
So
maybe
we'll go down there one night and check out one of their meetings.
Yeah.
So you guys meet at 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
So people can actually be there, or
That's a reasonable time for a working guy.
I think it has more to do with the council members being there.
oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
See, if you want to see Clay, you have to take it.
Because
work
in,
and go check out his
in
meetings.
Spiceland, they would rather have people who are actual contributing people who have day jobs be on their council. Not just retired people.
Dakota with the baby boomer hate
I didn't
tonight.
even know I was opening up that can of worms, but
You've opened up so many cans, like they're just littered everywhere over behind you.
Well, we'll turn Darren's mic off now for the balance of the show.
Yeah.
all right.
Otherwise, it's going to go on for another 3 hours.
It's kind of nice that the camera only catches the back of my head and
Yeah.
not my face.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, when the checks keep pouring in, we're gonna get the Mevo and have the full screen, and we can switch back and forth and have the multi-camera
There
angles.
you go.
Yeah, and you can see Clay go.
All right, so Clay,
Yes.
you took a week off last week because
Yeah.
because of my 4-H commitments, I forced the show onto a Wednesday night because we had the
Yes.
4-H junior leaders. So
Yes.
that conflicted with you, and I
Yeah.
apologize for that. But
No
you're back.
worries. Yeah.
So what's going on in the world over there? You got the MVP barbershop. You guys got a big council meeting coming up again. Anything else we need to plug?
The only thing coming up is we will vote on the budget next council meeting. So
You're still leaning yes?
yeah, right now, yeah, I'm 75% satisfied with what we've done. So yeah, rough start, rough couple months. I was wondering how it was going to go, but when we actually sat down and cut through some things, it turned out pretty well. So
Good.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on as always, and thank you for your generous donation this week.
Thank you.
We'll have improved audio quality coming your way,
There you
folks.
go.
So we appreciate it very much. Dakota, what you got?
I don't think I have a lot to plug this week. To be honest with you,
All right, that's easy.
I'm just glad that I was able to get everything off my chest with Darrin Jacobs.
You're gonna have to
square
hug it
now?
out, bro,
We're good?
after this.
Are we good?
Yeah,
Are we
we're good now,
All
yeah.
right, we're good now. Till next time.
Till next time.
until the next utility crisis.
I'm just glad that he didn't wear his Bernie shirt. Otherwise, we'd still be bitter. I might have had to throw in something. I don't know.
Yeah, your Austin Peterson jersey is it's
My
it's
bracelet.
Team Elephant
My
now.
Austin Peterson, it says AP4LP, and then it's hanging on the rearview mirror of my truck.
There you go. Oh, we got a truck to sell.
We do have a truck to sell. Yeah, that's right. A 1991 Chevy Cheyenne. It's the engine and transmission have both been rebuilt and have only 50,000 miles on them.
Wow.
I'm only asking $3,000 for it. I mean, this is a good deal. And it's got
brand new tires.
Brand new tires, straight pipes with cherry bombs on it. It roars going down the road. It's
It belongs in Dunreath. It's got a future down south.
yeah, it's a fun old truck.
All right. Well, if you want to get up with Dakota on that, Dakota at Boss Hog or Liberty, or message the page. And I've
I do
thrown
have
it
something to plug.
Here you go.
I have something to plug here. No, I'm just kidding. Go on.
Yep. That's my co-host.
How far would you have gotten if I wouldn't have called you back?
That's it. That's the way it goes.
Hey, wait! I think I hear Travis White coming in.
Yeah, Travis. Here
the
comes
next
the
hour.
extra hour of the show. Oh well. We appreciate Dakota as always. Spangle tried to steal him away from me this week, but we negotiated it back. So we got Dakota. We re-upped. It's too much work to move out of the studio, so we're here no matter what.
Yeah.
We are going to take Thanksgiving week off. We've decided that for sure. We're going to give everybody a break from us. Dakota's going to be off checking out the 50th state, and Clay and I just don't want to move all this crap into one of our houses to do another show. So we're going to take the week off because Dakota still has not given me a key yet. I personally want to thank everybody. This platform is crazy for us. It's fun. I'm amazed at the people that listen, and we get comments, and I don't want to sound like Mike Pence and say that we're humbled by it, but it's it's really a neat platform, and
Yeah, it's awesome.
Dakota and I both growing up had this. I grew up listening to Mike Pence on the radio and Rush Limbaugh and G. Gordon Liddy after he got out of jail. Anybody on AM radio, being a homeschooled kid, out working on in the barns, and there wasn't cable TV, so radio was a big medium for me. Listening to Dave Wilson on WIBC, those sorts of things. So having this platform for me is it's a really neat thing. And then for Dakota as well, he's much younger, so he wanted a YouTube channel. Welcome to this millennium. So he's got that too. So it's amazing how this has come together in 6 months for us. So we had it. Last episode was 25, big celebratory episode, and we're well over 1,000 people that we're reaching every episode between the YouTube, the Facebook, and the actual podcast feed. So appreciate all of it, and we're looking forward to much more. So we'll catch everybody next week. We got Kevin Green of the Courier Times,
and also
Dakota
my
Clay,
wedding DJ.
And he's the wedding DJ.
Oh.
I'm preparing a list of songs that I'm demanding to be played.
As am I.
Yes, as you should, because you're writing the check. So we'll catch y'all next week. We'll catch y'all next week. Hey, good job, everybody.
Are we still live?
Let me do this.
Yeah, still live.